The enemy of America and the world is trying to get the Battle of Armageddon started. And so, first of all, they want to destroy America. Now, they've been trying to cajole and push President Obama into various war scenarios, going to the Middle East and help the Spring Revolution and the democratization of the Middle East, take on Russia for going into the Ukraine, take on China for building up the islands and with Japan and all his claims over there. But I'm so thankful that this president is so wise that he has not escalated any of these things into a major war. Now, looming on October the 20th, they seem to be suggesting that the IMF is going to present a new dollar that could make a new calculus and change the way things are done in the world. Now, I don't want to speculate on that much, but had President Obama been engaged in any major war or war in the Middle East, other than Afghan and Iraq, you have the Syria and all these other places where you would have been defending democracy, so-called democracy, a war against Russia, and a one against China. And on the face, I think that we could handle all these situations because we have the military resources to really do that. But I tell you what, had we been engaged in these wars, and especially the ones against Russia and China, they would seem to be major wars. And I'm sure NATO would come in and all that kind of stuff. But with this big war going, and then suddenly the dollar ends up in problems, guess what would happen? Our war effort would have screeched a halt. We would have ceased being the current superpower, and it would have made it easier for the Antichrist to come out and rule the world. And this would have even seemed, as some people think, the beginning of the Battle of Armageddon or the Third World War. Now, there ain't going to be no Third World War because, I mean, there's no big enemy as such that there will be a world war. I don't think Russia or China are that significant. And I don't think necessarily the world is going to fight America per se. But the Battle of Armageddon, as we know it, is a battle against God. And how then NATO and America will end up in a battle against God? Well, the enemy, the Antichrist, has been doing so many things over the ages. But right now, he's trying to get something going that he could blame it on the Christians. Now, when the world gets into a dangerous place, very bad, he's going to blame it on the Christians. He say these people over there are the ones that causing the problem. He won't say the Christians per se because that will give him out, right? People realize that, oh, you want to persecute the Christians. Maybe you're not a Christian. Maybe you're a pagan. So he's going to try that. So people discover that he's not a Christian. And this is why he wants to exterminate the Christians. But they're going to make it appear as if this is what God wants. God wants them to go and get rid of these people because they are the problem and they're causing the problem. Whereas if people were wise enough, they would realize that it's the evil people is the problem. Because the more evil people are, less influence God has in the world, and the less he can do for the world. Because evil people want to pull the world down on themselves. And what can God do? God allows us to make our own choices. And so I congratulate the president for not having gotten into these big skirmishes at this point, because this would have fit nice into the plan. The economy, the superpower ended, and we're fighting for our sovereignty, as it were. And so we didn't get into any big war. Even if there's an economic change, we still could deal with it as opposed to being in the height of a war. I use the illustration. Sometimes you have some crazy people out there threatening people and beating them down with bottles and all kinds of things and carrying on as though I would kill you, and going on. And somebody had a gun and just pulled the gun out on the man. So, and he can just become a baby. He's going to become so innocent like a lamb. Oh, please. And he's going to beg him to become such a model citizen, so nice, because you pull that gun on him, But hadn't you pulled that gun, you'd just going on crazy and going on in a rage, tearing up his shirt and behaving like Hulk Hogan and carrying on, but the gun put him in his place. And so the nations of the world are going to, come to the place where they're going to figure that they could behave crazy. But guess what? Nature's going to start fighting them. The wind blows across the states from the west to the east. Maybe the wind is going to start blowing from the north to the south, or the south to the north, because you see, it seems to me that air strips are have something to do with the wind. They run into the wind. Um, so um, if basically there's no wind, then no plane could fly. Helicopters, rotating to the rotors to compact the air to lift, no lift. Ships sinking because the sea gives way to its buoyance, and contrary, and on the other hand, submarines have to come on top because they've somehow the seas, doesn't have that power to hold them down, as it were. Nature's going freaky. Somebody will use a machete or a sword to cut off somebody's head, and it turns into a pointed broom, or some soft brushing cloth. They're going to take the gun to shoot, and all that come to the nozzle is a bouquet of flowers. It's going to get so freaky, and yet people will still don't realize that God is, doing these things. As a matter of fact, some of these miracles might start happening after probation is closed. Jesus said that there's coming a time of probation in which he's going to say, he that is righteous remain righteous, and he that is wicked remain wicked. So that's the close of probation, wherein nobody can become good or nobody will become evil. And so at that time, things are going to get real ugly, and evil going to just seem as if they're going to be able to exterminate the good people. But you know what? The good Lord is going to stand up. It says Michael is going to stand up and fight for his people. And in my case, for the last 20 years or so, I've had some superb defense. People trying to poison me, people trying to put me in jail, people trying to shoot me, people trying to do all kinds of stuff. But God was defending me. Now, I don't know how they were able to succeed in paralyzing me. Of course, I did put myself out of God's hand, and put confidence in men, and start helping men and working with men, and I know I was going against what God really wants me to be doing, and so on. And so they were able to paralyze me. But although I'm paralyzed, I'm not done. I'm not, it's not over yet. And God is going to do a miracle, because I'm sure that when the time of trouble ends, or before Christ comes, I'm sure I'm going to be able to walk, because there's no point in me being in a wheelchair and have to be hiding from the authorities looking to, gun me down, or put me in jail or whatever. Not because I'm ugly, or not because I'm a criminal, but simply because I'm a child of God. And so I hope that, these leaders can get smart and realize that you can't win against God. And the battle for Armageddon is straight up going to be, they're fighting against God. But then again, you see, after probation has been closed, if these leaders happen to be on the wrong side and they're on the devil's side, they still won't understand that you're fighting a losing battle. Of course, they can't change and become good no more, so they can just press on with the evil intent. In fact, what I read is this, that the devil is going to have Hitler and some of these other ugly world leaders that are just evil on his side. And he's going to, convince them that with the military experience they have, they could conquer the few Christians out there. And as soon as they step out to do the thing, God is going to send fire from heaven and burn up all these guys. I'll make a video on barbecue. But yeah, so the battle for Armageddon has already been won. God has won it already. So stop.